Hi everyone, Chris Natzke here with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching with your Mind of a Champion Tip of the Week, live on Facebook. So last week I introduced the concept of practicing our basics. And being a martial art person as I am, one of the most important things that we instill in our students is the importance of practicing basics. In fact, if you ever came to a martial art class, probably one of the first things you'd see after stretching and warming up is practicing the basics. And the other thing that I shared with you last week is that in martial arts, we say that a black belt is nothing more than the master of the basics. So really the martial art journey begins when someone hits their black belt because they've just created an understanding and a strength of the basics. But that idea of basics doesn't just stop in the martial arts studio. It's really something I think that we can take and impart in every aspect of our lives. Because when we're really good at practicing our basics in life, it makes our life much more rich and much more success comes our way. So last week what I did, this is the second of a two-part series. Last week what I did is I introduced 3 of the top 6 basic practices that I utilize in my life and also attempt to instill that in my students as well as encourage my coaching clients to practice as well. And those 3 were more of a physical way of practicing basics. So the first thing we looked at was the importance of rest, getting our bodies proper and our minds proper rest. And that not only was just physical, but also mental rest and a break from our activities. Number 2, we talked about the importance of nutrition and how putting good, rich, high nutritional foods into our bodies, nutrition-rich foods in our bodies is something that just brings an absolute vibrancy to us. And then the final part of that was movement, is moving our bodies on a regular basis. And note I didn't say exercise, but our bodies were designed to move. So whatever way you feel comfortable moving that you know you're going to do on a consistent basis, put that as part of your regular practice. So those were the first 3. Today I want to talk about the second 3. And these are probably more of a mental/spiritual internal way of looking at it, but basic practices that I think are important nonetheless. And the first one in that is working on our mental growth and our expansion. So what do I mean by that? Well, you've probably often heard the phrase that leaders are readers. So what are you doing to put, great content into your mind where you're helping yourself grow and expand? What kind of podcasts are you listening to? What kind of books are you reading? Where are you engaging mentally? Because when we do that, what we'll do is we'll continue to grow and expand, and we'll also see the world in a different way. And that even happens when we're in challenge, because I think that we're really happiest when we have some sort of thing that's challenging us and we're actually being able to grow and expand through that process. So what do you currently have in place? What kind of basic practices do you do each day in terms of challenging yourself mentally? Are you a reader? It's easy to pick up those phones and just kind of read whatever's coming across, but are you picking up a book or an audiobook or a podcast? So that's number 4. Make sure mental growth and expansion. Number 5 is gratitude. Practicing gratitude. One of the things, if you've listened to this blog over the last several years that I've been doing it, you'll often hear me say is what we focus on expands, right? It's just a basic principle in life. And when we focus on the things that we're grateful for, it's been my experience that we start seeing more things to be grateful for, and we start attracting more things that we can be grateful for as well. In fact, there's a great book. It's by a man named Dr. Robert Evans. It's called Thanks. And what they did is they scientifically went through and they looked at what happened to people when they logged a minimum of 5 things they were grateful for each day into a journal. And what they found is people's sleep improved, their relationships improved, their health improved, and they came back saying that they were 25% happier on average than when they started the study. So who's up for 25% more happiness, right? So where can you incorporate gratitude as a practice, not just every once and again, but it's something you're consciously practicing through your day? And then finally, And even though the other 5 are important, this is probably the most important for me. Where can you really have a spiritual connection in whatever way that is for you? Some might call it God, some might call it spirit, some might call it nature, the universe, whatever. But where do you take time in your schedule to do that connection? You know, for me, first thing when I wake up, I go downstairs into my office and I got a little room adjacent to it, and I do my meditation and prayer work. That's what works for me. For you, it might be, again, in nature. It might be, you know, doing some kind of an activity where you're really present. But to choose that time, and here's my advice to you, is actually schedule that time. Because my experience is that's one of the first things that goes away when we get into the daily activities of our life. And it's probably the most important. So if you looked at my calendar on my phone, or if you looked at it on my computer, you'd see that's the first thing listed. And where can you do that? So there you have it, my friends. There are my second of 6, I guess my second group of 3 of 6 daily practices that I'd encourage you to use, basic practices. And here's my thought for you. If you may be practicing some of those already, and if you are, keep it up and keep going. There may be some of you might go, wow, that's something I'd like to incorporate. I just encourage you, just choose one. And start with one and start incorporating, do it for a week or 2 and get it to be part of your regular routine, and then add another. I think that works better than trying to do 5 at once and then all of a sudden you miss a day and you're off. You want to make sure that you're just consistently working that. And who knows, as you begin to practice those basics, you may just become a black belt in life. So there you have, my friends. It's been my pleasure, as always, to share this message with you. I'm Chris Natzke with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching. If you liked what you heard and what you saw, please share it with friends, comment, and we will see you next time on the Mind of a Champion Tip of the Week.